I think we're live. I think I'm hearing some feedback from one of you two. Do you have
I got
maybe
my
the
phone
screen
on.
open? Okay. I think we're good. I just want to say welcome again to another episode of Blogging for Freedom TV. We've got a really awesome guest on today, Pavel Vasilik, and he's going to be sharing his story in a minute. First, we just want to talk about what Blogging for Freedom TV is all about. It's really about sharing with you guys the platform that we're using. It's called a blog to build an audience for our unique passions, businesses. I'm getting some feedback again. I don't know where that's coming from, but anyways, we're going to be sharing with you how we're using this platform to create, freedom, opportunity, and income for ourselves just by basically sharing our own unique talents, passions, and everything else to an audience that you can literally reach anywhere. So blogging is a really powerful platform, and what we do every week is we bring someone on who's been getting results using blogging, using the systems that we use online to create businesses and, like I said, opportunity and freedom. So what I'm going to actually just do next is allow David to also introduce himself and tell a little bit about his story, and then we're going to jump into the interview. We did start a couple minutes late here, so I want to make sure we're able to get into the interview with Pavel because he's got a really powerful story. So, David, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Adam. I just want to say it's great to be here with you guys today on Blogging for Freedom TV. And for you guys out there in the audience, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for watching. We love having you here, and we hope that we can give you guys some good value and some good tips, tricks, maybe, and some insights into how you can build a business online through a blog and how you can move towards your passions and be able to live your dreams. So with that, again, my name is David Book, and our guest today is Pavel Vasilik. And something that him and I have in common is we were in the Navy at different times. We weren't in at the same time, but we were both on the USS Enterprise, which is actually pretty cool when I found that out. And so that's a little bit of my history is being in the Navy. I spent 5 years active duty working on a ship. I also worked on aircraft, and it was really quite a personal journey for me because I didn't really like it. Like I didn't care for the authority, really. I didn't care for being told when I could eat, sleep, shower, shave. I just really didn't care for that stuff. But yeah. Nice pattern interrupt there, man. I like that. So, all right, yeah. So I didn't like the journey through the Navy that I had to take, but I had to take it in order to find out I didn't like it, right? And so when you experience something that you don't really enjoy all that much, or something that maybe you absolutely hate to do, it really kind of opens up your eyes to see how you don't want to live your life. It allows you to make decisions in the future with some experience under your belt, so that maybe, hey, if I make that decision, I'm probably not going to like that because I experienced something before that was uncomfortable or that you didn't like. And so the Navy thread that Pavel and I have in common is, I think, going to be really cool to talk about because, well, I don't know how Pavel enjoyed the Navy, but most of the people that I met in there, we all had a really good time. We worked together, we played together. It was a good camaraderie, but the actual doing the work and being forced to stay on your ship or stay on duty for 24 hours straight and not being able to spend the time doing what you want to do and what you love to do, I think that's the part that really made me grow, and it's really brought me here to the blogging arena because I get to follow stuff that I'm passionate about. I get to teach people about things that I love to do, and I get to make a difference out there. And in the Navy, it's really kind of hard to do that. So I'm going to cut that short, super long-winded story about my story. Anyway, Pavel, we'll jump into you, man. I want to hear a little bit about your experience in the Navy. Maybe the decision that you made to get into the Navy. Why did you make it? And then what was your experience while you were there, and how did it affect your life now and what you've done with your blogging and your art? Oh, yeah, guys, and if you didn't know, we didn't even say anything about that at all. Pavel is a very esteemed artist. He's done lots of amazing drawings, and on his blog, he actually teaches people how to do some of the art that he does. So, Pavel, your story, a little bit about why you joined the Navy and how it's got you to where you are today.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on here. I feel really humbled and happy to be here. So thank you for the invite, and always glad to come onto these things. And but as far as the Navy, it was it was really spontaneous for me because before the Navy, I kind of did where I was at. I didn't know where I was going, which a lot of people feel like that. It's just sometimes people are afraid to take the action to actually do something to change their life, right? And when I got into the Navy, it was I just went to the recruiter's office over in Rochester, New York. And I just came in there, asked a few questions. Next thing I know, I'm signing like a piece of paper without even thinking about it. I was like, sounds pretty good. Like this, like seems like the right thing to do right now because I was kind of stuck with surrounded by the same people, doing the same thing every day, and I became too comfortable where I was at. And usually, when I'm in my comfort zone, I start. When I'm too comfortable, I start failing. Like I'm not thinking, I'm not like progressing, I'm not doing what I should be doing. So the Navy for me, I feel like it was an incredible experience because I knew my main goal was, to get the GI Bill so I could go to school, so I could get school paid for, I could move wherever I wanted, and didn't really care about what was in between, like or in the middle, what would happen. So when I got in there, I mean, I thought it was awesome. Like boot camp was my favorite part. I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever gone through. I would actually do boot camp again. I thought it was so hilarious. Like after boot, like I didn't even want to leave boot camp at the end of it because they were like, you got to go to Pensacola for A school, and I was like, I was the man in boot camp now because I was like, I was like graduating, so I was like, oh man, now I'm gonna be the new guy again. So it's this like constant chaos that was happening in my life, and I like started to get comfortable with chaos, and I would progress, and I would like things. For me,
Hello. Can I say something quick? I think are you holding your mic because the sound is actually coming in and out and in and out.
Yeah.
I didn't know if maybe it was on that cord or.
No, actually. Can you hear me right now?
It's kind of like, is it the same for you, Dave? Is it kind of like quiet?
Yeah, it cuts in and out, like fades in and out.
All right, give me a second.
That's all right. We'll figure it. Whatever. We'll get it right. I'd rather hear your story than not just see your lips moving. So.
Right.
All right. Is it better now if I like talk into this thing?
That's better. Yes.
All right. So where did I leave off where you guys didn't hear anything?
Boot camp, I think. You were talking about how you were getting ready to be the new guy after you're graduating from boot camp.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to A school, and, I didn't want to leave boot camp. And me and my buddies were like, oh, crap, we're going to be the new guys again. This is going to be crazy. And, like, that whole feeling of just chaos. I'm, like, addicted to chaos. And, like, so going to A school, all that. I didn't like A school, but it was definitely, I could smoke cigarettes now. Boot camp I couldn't out there. You just go outside Florida, Pensacola, whatever. You hang out with people, but I had to, like, wear my uniform all the time and stuff. And, after that, after I went through A school, I got on the Enterprise, and this was about 2009, and it was just crazy. I saw this thing, I was like, this thing is massive, like holy crap, and I liked the experience, but having someone tell you where to be, how to dress, when to be there, how you're supposed to carry yourself, I didn't like that, since like a really early age, I've always known that, I'm meant for something more, but this was kind of like a stepping stone and a great experience for me to go through to get to, that end result that I wanted, which was, the GI Bill and then going to school and then figuring things out, but, halfway through my, being on the Enterprise, I shattered my elbow, so I ended up being home. Like I was I was in bed rest for like 6 months, so that's when I got into online marketing and blogging and all that stuff, and it just hypnotized me and it blew me away, and immediately I saw the evidence because I made $350 somehow. I didn't know how I did it, but I knew it was possible.
Yeah, I love
At that point, it was like it was like an addiction.
We lost you, man.
Oh crap! Can you hear me again? Can you hear me?
Very quiet now.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
That is so weird because I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to notice something you're doing that's changing it because it was really clear for a while there and then it just went away.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yeah, now it's
That's
good.
better now, yeah.
So weird.
I do not like. I'm gonna return this laptop just because of this microphone. But yeah, that's how I got into marketing because I wanted to keep myself busy and I got hypnotized. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We'll let you know
Yeah.
if it goes off. It's not a huge deal. It's
All right.
pattern interrupts.
But yeah, so yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah. When you lean forward, we lose you.
Oh, so okay, so I'm gonna stay in this position right here.
Yeah,
Can you
you're
hear me?
good right there.
All right,
That's
I'm not.
weird, though.
I'm not moving. Like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna be very still the rest of this. But yeah. So wow, this feels really unnatural. Like sitting like this.
This is actually really funny. Pavel, you cannot move.
The things you do for your live TV hangouts.
Right. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. But
It's me meaning to putting you on the spot.
right.
Can't move.
Oh man.
That's all right. Well, Dave, you have questions for Pavel? Do you want to just get into those?
Well, yeah. So we talked a little bit about how your Navy experience got you into blogging, and I kind of want to talk about how you've introduced your artistic abilities into your blogging and how you've been able to kind of build a business around that. I'd like to know, what you do as far as your artwork goes. How do you market that stuff online, and do you use a blog to be able to do that?
Yes, I do. The way I started with my art, well, when I saw Empower, in the blogging system and all of that, the way I got into it, I was like, oh my God, these guys are driving an insane amount of traffic to their offers. I could do that with my artwork. So the way I started using my art was I started reaching out to celebrities and well-known people, right? I would just email them. They're out there. You could contact them. And that's what I would do, and I would contact them, and I would say, hey, can I draw this portrait for you, this time-lapse portrait? And they'd be like, yeah. They were like flattered. They're like, hell yeah, So I ended up drawing Boss Rutan, and that's how I started getting a lot of traffic with my art. And then I started posting it on the blog, and he would share my blogs, and then all of a sudden I started doing, work for more UFC fighters and, people in other niches, and they would share my blog, and then they would post it on their social media, and then through YouTube. So, I have a YouTube channel that grew over like 800,000 hits within like a year of me doing this. So
That's awesome.
for artists or whatever, I highly suggest just reaching out to people who have authority online, reaching out to celebrities or whatever, or really well-known people that can drive the traffic for you, and then leverage the blog that you're using right now because it's super powerful, and you get ranked really high on Google. I mean, that's amazing. And it just, and you could do this literally with anything, whatever you're passionate about. I just happen to, turn my art, like my passion of art, using this blog and driving all this traffic. And, there's also, the blog is just free ways of traffic. There's also other ways of driving traffic, but I really feel like blogging is one of the best ways you can put yourself out there, especially on the internet. It's incredible. So
I love what you did there, Pavel, because so what you did is you reached directly out to people that already had influence and already had audiences and networks, and that was a way for you to kind of accelerate the whole process of getting traffic to your blogs too, right? Because these people had huge audiences, they were sharing your stuff to their built-in audiences already, and that was kind of bringing you massive amounts of traffic, right?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people thought I was crazy for doing that. They're like, "You're doing these things for free," and I was like, "I don't care. I just want the exposure. Like, I love art and I love marketing. Like, I don't care if I get paid for it or not. I just want to do the art and get some exposure and teach some other people how to do this." And it just turned into this whole thing where now it's just I don't know. I'm obsessed with all of it. It's just, and I love doing it.
I talk to a lot of people who they'll have like frustrations about blogging when you talk to them about starting a blog, because in a lot of cases they feel like it's this thing that's going to take forever and huge amounts of their time. But what I like about what you were kind of talking about there is how if you can connect with other influential people, and have something valuable to offer those people, that's a way to gain traction a lot faster. I just think that's really cool.
Right, yeah, especially with how the internet's evolved, you could really reach out to almost anyone. You guys can't hear me, can you?
No, it's awesome. We can hear you perfectly.
All right. I'm just like, but yeah, with the way where the internet is today, you could pretty much do anything with a blog. You could reach out to anybody. It doesn't have to take a long time. Just be creative with it. And, once you go through the training, once you're going through all the training, you're slowly learning how to do this. Be creative, think outside the box, and that's how you will grow further and get to the goals that you want to get to, is just by thinking outside the box. Look what everyone else is doing and do it differently and do it better, and think of ways of how to, if something's going to take a long time, how can you make it how can you do it faster, better, just leveraging
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
When you talked about doing the portraits, contacting the celebrities or the fighters, and asking them if you could do the portrait, I'm curious to know, did you do that before or after you went to Las Vegas and heard from Neil Patel there?
I started doing this in 2012 when I first moved out to San Francisco, because I saw this guy Barry Jazz Finnegan, doing awesome time-lapse portraits on YouTube, and he had crazy hits. So I was like, oh well, maybe I should do time-lapse portraits. And I was like, how can I get more traffic? And then I love the UFC, and me and my friends used to watch Bosser and just beat the crap out of people as kids. So I was like, maybe I'll contact him. So I just sent him a message on Twitter and Facebook, and I went to his website. I found his contact, emailed him, and then within a couple days, I got an email back. And I was like, no way. So I just kept doing that, and then that just got me a lot of exposure, and this is like $1 million information right here.
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious, because in Las Vegas when we were listening to Neil, he was talking about going out and finding people who have influence in your niche and giving them some kind of value, making a valuable comment or giving them some information that they might not have already had, in hopes that they're going to come back and look at your content and maybe share your stuff. It's kind of like a guest blogging strategy, right? But you were able to do that with your art, in that way before I even heard that from Neil Patel, which is really cool. Which is you thinking outside the box. How can I go out there and get my stuff in front of a lot of people? Go find where the traffic's at and step in front of it instead of trying to bring the traffic to yourself. And I think that's a gold nugget, like you said, $1 million piece of information. Go out there, find people who are influential, get your stuff in front of them, and then it will be reciprocated. I think that, guys, if you can take that away from this hangout today, that's a huge piece of information. I don't know, do you think the same thing, Adam?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I just think the other question I was going to ask you too, Pavel, is, for someone who's an artist and is kind of new to this internet marketing thing, might be thinking about trying to figure out creative ways to, market themselves online, what would you tell them to be the first step they should take if they want to, get more exposure for their art?
I go to art school right now, and what I've noticed is, they're just great artists, and there's a lot of competition for artists out there. It's hard to get jobs because everyone's trying to compete for the same thing, and most of them after they graduate don't even end up working in their field, and a lot of them are great artists. They just don't know how to get it seen. So what I figured out was, hey, you gotta find learn marketing, online marketing, because that's where all the eyes and ears are right now. And that's really important. If there's hundreds of millions of people just online all the time on their phones and tablets looking at stuff, you got to tap into that audience. That's important. So first of all, I would say just get a blog, because that's your home on the internet. They say that a lot. It's your home on the internet, and that's a perfect place to have your artwork. And then learn how to market yourself with social media, and that you learn that as you go on through the different trainings that we have. But I would definitely say look at what other artists are doing. How are they placing themselves? Exactly how are they marketing their artwork? What are they doing online? Do they have a YouTube channel? What are they doing on that YouTube channel? And just get some ideas off of them and model after them. And I feel like that's the best way to market your artwork, or just anything else in general. It doesn't have to be just artwork, but it's what's worked for me, and I just keep doing it, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So I mean, I'm happy with it, and I mean, I can only give advice, that's worked for me, and I think it's great advice. And if you're an artist, and it's just gold nuggets right there for you. Just eat it up.
Right on. And I've always had this, feeling, this desire to help creative people, because I've been around a lot of like artists and musicians that have struggled just to figure out a way to, like, survive. Like, and I feel like, artists need to be as creative with their marketing as they are with their art, because so many artists are so creative, they create this amazing art. But, like, I have friends, for example, there's one friend of mine who does these glass mosaics, and she's amazing, but she doesn't, her art sits in her basement, and she doesn't do anything to market herself. And art, or marketing in its simplest form, is taking those paintings and just putting them on a wall for people to see them. But the internet just gives you this multiplier effect to every bit of marketing you do. Because when you create a blog post, for example, it's out there forever, and literally hundreds and then thousands of eyes can see that post now and as many times in the future as someone finds it. It's just such a powerful concept that I feel like more artists need to fully, comprehend, because then, they can, if as in terms of how you're allocating your time, focus on art, of course, but then spend a certain amount of time also focusing on the marketing. And, that's what's going to enable you to, in the long run, not have to do that shitty job anymore that you're doing that you don't like. And so you can actually free up more of your time for your art. So I just think blogging is something that all artists should be doing. And I was going to ask you too, Pavel. Actually, Dave, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you covered that one pretty good, man.
Cool. I was going to ask one other question is, do you have like a daily routine when it comes to your blogging? Do you have a specific routine when it comes to creating the content and then getting it syndicated and all of that?
Yeah, I use my list a lot. Or, like, right now I'm working on a piece for Justin Berengia, and this thing's just been killing me, because it's, how he loves Star Wars, and I promised I would do this piece for him. So, like, it's been, like, taking up a lot of my time, especially, I go to school for 3D animation at the Academy of Art University here in San Francisco. So I just had midterms, so I'm like doing all this stuff. But as far as writing the blog, it's syndicating it. I'll just use my list, like leveraging your list, and just sending it out there, sending it out to the list, also sharing it with hashtagging the people that I know in the like celebrities again. I don't know, YouTube, everything. I mean, it's
yeah. For those of you in the audience that don't know what he means by a list, with our platform, as you bring traffic to the blog, there's various ways that your visitors can actually subscribe, by entering their email. So when Pavel is referring to his list, it means that he's built a list of subscribers, people who have come to his blog and then opted in for, like, it's the equivalent of a newsletter if you've gone to websites and you've seen a newsletter. So he's built this email list of loyal followers that he can then continue to follow up and send valuable content. And that's the beauty kind of this system, is it automates much of, what you would normally want to try and accomplish offline, when you're in terms of building relationships with people. What's cool about the internet and the system and the blog we use is you can automate much of that and use the systems to capture emails, build your audience, and then do that sort of follow-up that you need to do, right? It's so powerful.
Yeah, it is. The list is like one of the most amazing sources of traffic, because it's free traffic for you. Like, once you have that list, it's yours. You could do anything with it. And usually when I create a new piece, I'll do like a time-lapse portrait. I'll send it to my list, and I have a separate art list. And all of a sudden, overnight I'll get like 1,000, 2,000 hits on that video, and then I'll do some other dark magic, and then all of a sudden I got like 50,000 hits. So it's just learning all these strategies is super important for artists. I feel like
that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
that is so
and that's
cool.
just I've just been building it over the years, and just building it and building it and building it, building relationships with different artists and people, connecting with different artists and networking, and just using all the tools and education that I've gone through, just to just drive traffic and blog. And that's that's the key. I believe that's the key to getting a lot of exposure for yourself as an artist. And the reason I even got in, well, the biggest reason I got into marketing also was because I wanted to start my own animation studio. I don't want to work for an animation studio. I don't want to work for anyone. I just want to create my own stuff. Have people working for me, great, but I don't want to, work on someone else's terms. I want to get my own studio and just do my thing, And that, to me, that's freedom. To me, that is, being rich, and like that's being rich to me. Just time and having my own animation studio.
Yeah,
So
being
that's
able
how
to do what you want. Absolutely.
Blogging for freedom. That's what this is all about.
Right.
Freedom. Freedom, I feel like when you really get down to it, what motivates just about all of us that are part of this community, and just a lot of other internet entrepreneurs, business owners, is the freedom to be able to dictate the terms in your own life. I know that was always my story too. So, Dave, did you have any other questions?
Yep, I got the famous last question that I always ask
Right on.
everybody. And it's not really that famous. Don't worry. Bob, I just wanted to know, have you had a mentor that has had a significant impact on your internet marketing and your blogging business, and how did that particular person impact you? What did you learn from them, and how did you apply it to your business?
Oh man, where to even start there? Yeah, I had a mentor, and it's Alex Z. And when I hooked up with him, I found him on Facebook, and I was like, I gotta be around this guy. I gotta find out, what is he doing? Because it just drove me crazy because I didn't understand what he was doing, and it's just impacted my business like crazy. I've been able to get $2,000 days, $3,000 days because of like learning this information, having this mentor. Income disclosure, all that stuff. But mentors are very, very important inside this business, or if you're really trying to succeed. And whoever is on your team or just watching this and they're on your team, they're really lucky to have you guys, because you guys are there. You guys are doing these hangouts, you guys are doing this, and helping people out. It's just amazing because I really feel like mentoring new people, especially that don't know what's going on and they're really interested in doing this, is very important. And without my mentor, I wouldn't have been able to generate all this traffic, be known as in front of all these celebrities and stuff like that. I just wouldn't have known how to do it. I wouldn't even think of knowing how to do it. I would have been like, well, okay, I can draw. I guess I'll wait for a job like everyone else. But then my mentor taught me a lot, and after that, like, it's like a light bulb just exploded in my head. I was like, oh my God, like, this is it. I figured it out. So mentoring is definitely, I think, one of the most important and crucial parts of being in this industry. Yeah. Did that answer the question? I don't know. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I haven't even slept.
It's all good. Yeah, for sure. No. Yeah. No, Alex has been kind of a passive mentor for me. I've looked at the stuff that he's done, and I've been on his email list, kind of to do what we've been talking about today, is going out and seeing what successful people in your niche and your marketplace you're doing, and then reverse engineering or modeling what they're doing, and then putting your own spin on it. And so Alex has been a help for me too. Actually, funny story, the first event I went to in Orlando, I approached Alex. I'm like, hey man, what's up? I read your emails. I really like what you're doing. And I had no idea that he didn't speak very good English. And it just blew me away. Like, I had this image of him built up in my head, but it had an English voice, an English accent, and he didn't have that. And it just blew me away. I'm like, wow, this guy can do all his marketing to me, and I have no idea that he speaks a different language most of the time, which is crazy. But which is also the same event that I saw you do the Dave Wood portrait of, which, by the way, if you guys are interested in seeing an awesome piece of artwork, check out Pavel's blog. He did an amazing portrait of David Wood, the founder of the company that we work with here. So, Pavel, I just want to give you a chance to give a shout out to everybody here on the Hangout and let them know where they can come find you and where they can get more information about what you do and to take a look at your artwork.
All right. Yeah, if you guys want to check out my blog and check out the artwork, go visit my blog is actually crackedreport.com, and you can just go there, check out the blogs. It's connected to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos. There's like 40 different time-lapse portraits I have on there. You can connect with me on Facebook. It's Pavel Vasilik. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And once again, like, thanks for having me on here. And
Oh, absolutely, man.
We'd love to have you
really
on
appreciate
again. Your story is really cool. I mean, I think it's so cool what you're doing with your art too. You know, it's like, it feels like such a breakthrough when I hear of artists that are having this kind of success too. It's fun. It's fun to hear about that. You're an inspiration.
Yeah, because like, what a lot of people as artists think is, you got to be a starving artist. You can't make it. It doesn't have to be like that. Just like control your own destiny. Just know that you can do something amazing and better, and you don't have to, go with the crowd. You don't have to, go through struggle. I mean, you do a little bit to get to success, but as an artist, you're basically, what you can do is limitless, especially with, an education in marketing. I mean, holy crap, you could take over the world like tomorrow, using blogs and stuff. But,
it is the most powerful education you can get because it's applicable to anything. That's so cool. And I guess we're right at about 30 minutes, so we'll wrap it up. And I actually want to reinforce what we were talking about at the end here too with mentorship. What's cool about our community, and you all have an opportunity right now to get started using the same blogging system that Pavel and David and I all use. You can just get back to the person who invited you. If you're on the page, bloggingforfreedom.tv, there's a button right below the video for you to get started. And what's cool is when you do that, when you do get started, you're connected to like a community of mentors. We're all part of the same community. We're all really getting excited too, because in less than a month we're meeting in Nashville for an event where we get to connect with the whole community. So it's sort of a movement as much as it is anything else. When you get started, you get a lot of like-minded people, entrepreneurs that are are motivated the same way you are to create more freedom in your life. So I urge you to get started, and we just love to have you in the community. Thank you again for attending this episode of Blogging for Freedom TV. We're on every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.
See you guys.